easy on the first one.
So does that mean the like if the sun could produce sound and there was somehow a like
it would bounce. It would come back. Right
onto
into
the sun?
Yeah, anything that bounced off the sides of our
Did you know
orbit.
the sun is really loud? It just doesn't have any
Air to conduct it?
Yeah.
I would imagine that
We'd
a
be all
constant
deaf.
fusion explosion would be loud if there was any atmosphere there, but it's impossible to have an atmosphere at that temperature and gravity, apparently. So
And it is an atmosphere.
it is sort of an atmosphere. Yeah.
Did you also know that the light that hits us, like right now, like the sunlight is actually like millions of years old?
From other stars, not from.
No,
us.
no, from our star.
It's
The
millions of years old.
light is only produced in the core of the sun.
And then it has to bounce out of the outer layers of the sun, so it just keeps bouncing.
Because it's so
bouncing.
dense.
All right, you guys are the guest lecturers
Anything
in
else
physics in
boring,
about
anything
11 weeks.
chemistry that you
Okay,
want to
because
know
I didn't know
about
this.
chemistry?
All right.
I showed you the thing from that.
Now, that's centered at the origin.
No.
Okay, now we got to get to not centered at the
You're
origin.
so taking credit for
And then we
that.
got to get to some crazy algebra.
Ramsey came up with all that.
Stars for the foci.
Let the record
do.
be shown.
That's what we're
Ramsey
supposed to do.
Punjab
That's-
came up with all that.
That way you don't think they're just like points.
So you would make like little.
Yeah.
Kitty. You're making a kitty.
I'm not going to make a kitty.
Or the Batman symbol.
Anyway. All right. So
You know you want it?
Or my face.
I will bring
not. Shh. Okay. Not centered at origin. Okay. Hang on a sec. Before you go there, I want to cover a quick point. Have you guys ever seen anything like this before regarding functions?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, in general functions. First off, is an ellipse a function?
Yes.
No,
No.
because it completely fails the vertical line test. Okay? The way I've always taught this, so this may only be something that Becca appreciates actually. The way I've always taught this is you have the counterintuitive shift inside the parentheses and the intuitive shift outside the parentheses, like we did with the sinusoidal shapes. Okay? If it's snuggled up against the x inside the function, it's your counterintuitive shift. If it's hanging on alone out here, it's your intuitive shift up and down.
Loner.
Now, that's only if you choose to write it as a function. Even if something is a function, you don't have to write it that way. You don't have to write it as y by itself. If I wanted to, I could write it as y minus h equals f of x minus k. Am I allowed to do that? Subtract h from both sides? move it
No,
over?
no,
Yeah.
no.
Okay, if I do that, even if I take a function and I write it in a non-function mode, what happens is both of my shifts are now counterintuitive. If I write it this way, then this is a counterintuitive shift left to right. And because this is the same as this function up here, and it was intuitive when it was positive and I've changed the sign, this is now a counterintuitive shift left and right.
So what if we multiply both sides by -1?
The -1 would have to be something that could be distributed through this function. Like if this function were x squared,
Never mind.
then it would be inside an exponent and the negative wouldn't go in. If this were a sine wave, it wouldn't.
He sucks.
Thank you, Ramsey. Okay, so
Ramsey Punjab.
now the point is, if it's not written in function form, the shifts are both counterintuitive. So if I have an ellipse, x minus k squared over a squared plus y minus h squared over b squared equals 1, both of these shifts are counterintuitive, which means the center of the ellipse is going to be at positive k, positive h. So whatever operation's going on between the x and the shift and the y and the shift, switch it. They're both counterintuitive now. Minus means go right. Negative means go left. Minus means go up. Negative means go down.
What do you do with the F?
In this case, I didn't go directly from here to here. F just means I'm talking about a sine wave. I'm talking about a parabola. If I were talking about a parabola, this would be y equals x minus k squared plus h. If I were talking about a sine wave, this would be y equals sine x minus k plus h.
So you just say F it,
Pardon?
and then you get rid of it.
Yeah, the a and b.
An F?
Well, I didn't directly go from here to here because this is a function and this isn't. I'm just saying that in general, with function behavior, both, you can write it so both shifts are counterintuitive. And if you're looking at something that's not a function, any number that's snuggled directly up with the x and y is going to be a counterintuitive shift.
So does that mean that that's a say x plus 4? That means that it's actually going to be a negative 4.
It actually means you move 4 to the left. You move the whole ellipse 4 units to the left.
To the left.
Yes.
To the
If that's
negative
x plus
side.
To the right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, okay, let's do an example, and that will help. I think this would go easier with actual numbers.
And if they're plus 0, or minus 0,
It's
it's
centered
a
at
center.
the origin.
It's infinity.
Okay, so if I have x plus 4, I'll take Megan's example, and I'll stick with perfect squares for now, though in your homework you might have a few that aren't. X plus 4 squared over 144 plus y minus 3 squared over 196
What the hell?
equals 1. How?
Heck.
12,
So,
13.
14.
What?
Yes.
so in the
13 is
formula,
169.
in the
Think about 3
formula-
times 3 has to end in a 9.
He thinks he's smart.
Yes.
the formula,
There's a
it's
guy
x plus or
behind
minus
the camera who's
Now,
giving him
I've never seen it written that way, because then it can't be plus or minus, because you have to know which way to
Remember
go.
that.
But I'm saying like it could be x. I thought it was only x minus.
Oh, you can write it as x plus. This, because this is the same thing as x
-4.
minus negative 4.
Did,
Okay.
Good movie.
Wait. I think didn't Mr. Singer? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that he would put like the bigger number first.
Oh, yes, that's one way to do it, and I forget what your book does. Some books say if the 196 is in the denominator, then you should always write this as y minus 3 squared, over 196, plus x plus 4 squared over 144. And some books say the bigger number is always a, and doesn't matter. I figure you guys should be able to handle whatever order I throw it at you and figure out which one's bigger. But you are probably correct. Mr. Singer is much more careful about those details. I like to introduce you to a wide variety of ways to confuse you.
Yes.
Johannes, did you have your hand up for a question? Or?
No, I thought you were looking for an answer.
Okay. All right. Regardless, the center of this one, either way you write it, the enter of this one is going to be at -4, 3. Okay? So this one's going to be centered.
Wait, those are. Oh, they're the same thing.
Yeah. But you know what? Honestly, I think I like to keep it this way so that I more clearly
Yep,
get the
X
center
and Y.
right.
Yeah.
And it's pretty, and I see that it's a larger number under the Y. So do I have a football or a Stewie?
An egg.
I should say an egg or a Stewie.
An
Give
egg.
it Stewie.
I have an egg. The larger number is under the Y. So that means it's going to be bigger up or down. Okay? So now I go to 1, 2, 3, -4, 3 up. Here we go. From there, I may need more y-axis. From that point, -4, 3, I need to go up the square root of 196.
12.
14. 14. So from
I knew that.
the 4, I need to go up to 18.
Shouldn't it be from the 3?
From the 3, really? Yeah, wow, I messed that up.
Yeah, he's
From
not good
the
at
3,
anything.
I need to go up to 17. Thank you, Parker. And from the 3, I need to go down to -11. Parker, am I right? From 3
-14.
down 14.
-11.
From 3 should be -11. Okay? So this is the point -4, -11. And this is the point -4, 17.
Oh my god.
To the sides now,
12.
the number under the x, I need to go 12 in each direction. So from -4, 12 in the positive direction is 8. So that should be the point 8, 3. And then I think I need more of a negative x-axis here. Going from -4, 12 further is -16.
Yep.
So that is -16, 3.
College of